What is up, guys? Welcome to Post Friend High. I'm here with Chelsea and Jeremy. I want you guys to just take like 3 minutes each and kind of walk us through your backstory, where you grew up and how you got into music.
I grew up in Connecticut, and music was just kind of always the center of our household. Neither of my parents are like particularly musical, but they just always had Bruce, the Beatles, the Stones playing at all times and took us to concerts. Like my first concert was like Bruce Springsteen when I was 2 years old.
That's so cool. Yeah. And you also had a sporty background too, right? You were a soccer player?
Yeah.
Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you went to Amherst for soccer?
Yeah, D3. So that's why my miles are 13-minute miles. But
okay. Hey.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. And so it's cool that you always had the combination of music and sports. Like you had kind of two sides to you.
Music was kind of always the thing that I just did for fun. And now it's the forefront of my life. So most of my adult life has been figuring out what do I want to do for fun now that like my hobby is turned into my profession. You know?
I feel like that's such a good problem to have though. Like when you
Totally.
love work, because it is just so fun to create things. And
Totally.
It's really cool when you're able to monetize that and like get paid to do what you love.
You know what? You sound like my therapist.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten that a lot.
She's
Sometimes,
like, you lucky bitch. Just enjoy your life.
What do you do outside of music for fun?
I don't know. I'm like trying to figure that out still. But as long as I'm with my friends, I'm usually pretty happy.
Yeah. Friends, dog, outdoors. I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very you.
And my dog. Yeah, my dog.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Okay, Jeremy, over to you. Tell us about your early life and how you got into music.
I grew up in New Jersey, and my family wasn't particularly musical, but my parents made me take piano lessons when I was younger. I really didn't want to do it. I thought piano was lame. And eventually I really got into Blink-182 on my own. Just my older brothers like gave me the CD. And from then I was like, piano's really lame because I didn't hear a single piano in their music. And I begged my parents to get me a guitar, and I started learning and started like writing my own, like changing their songs to my own lyrics kind of. I would like rewrite existing songs. And then I started writing my own music, and then I was in bands, and then I was producing the music of my band because I like learned on GarageBand. It was very like haphazard, and eventually I was like producing songs for my band that my band couldn't play, and then I was like, why am I in a band? Right. And then I started doing music on my own.
Those poor guys are gonna hear this interview and be like,
I've said that like
fuck.
No,
multiple
that's okay.
times in interviews.
I mean, it's so cool. You got to start somewhere, and I feel like also when you're younger, it is easier to start with a group of people that's like-minded.
Totally.
Also, just like a little fun fact, but I'm from Glen Rock, New Jersey.
No way.
I know.
Oh
I
my
saw that
God.
today that you're from Franklin Lakes, and I was like, what?
I know the Glen Rock.
Yeah, there's a big ass rock in my hometown.
I did like a.
Where?
I did
at
it-
a park?
It's in the middle of
It's
town.
like in the center of town, and like sometimes the people in the town just like hold hands and they dance in a circle around them.
That's
getting to know
culty.
you.
That honestly, I was gonna say like we're all just little Sims characters.
That rock was moved there from a glacier.
Really?
Whoa!
Wait.
What?
I did like my 5th grade project on the Glen Rock.
Oh my god! Can you tell me any more like about it?
That's all I remember.
Okay,
It was moved
that's
there by
pretty
a
epic.
glacier. It's really, really big.
Yeah, it is a big.
I have
rock.
a picture of me like in 5th grade in front of it going like that.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I literally love that. Okay. All right. And then when did you guys meet for the first time?
At a frat party at UConn in
16.
2016.
Wow. And I saw online that before that, you guys had been connected through SoundCloud, right?
Yeah, I feel like there maybe should be context for the frat party too, because neither of us went to UConn.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So walk me back.
One of my best friends from high school went to UConn, and I just picked a random weekend to visit her, and she was hooking up with this whack ass guy in whatever frat it was.
A pie.
So yeah, A Pi, which I don't like. There was no Greek life at Amherst, so I don't understand Greek life at all. But she made me go to this Darty, which was sick, by the way.
Yeah.
We didn't,
Okay. I
like,
love that. I've never been out at UConn.
It was really sick. So I got flown out with like 2 of my best friends to play a show. To like at that time I'd been releasing music for like a year on SoundCloud, and I was actually like the drunkest I've ever been on stage, and I'm like not drinking on stage, but that was like an exception, and it was really intense. And then I came off stage like kind of wobbly, and Chelsea comes up to me and she's like, I'm Chelsea Cutler, like we talk online. I was like, what are you doing
That's
here?
how I introduced myself. I go, I'm
Yeah.
Chelsea Cutler. We talk online.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, from
it's like
SoundCloud.
I literally feel like the stars aligned that day. Like the fact that you guys
It
ran
made
into each
no
other. Like,
sense.
what
It
are
was
the odds?
crazy.
Yeah.
Because like the circumstances were
Fate.
so peculiar.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the kid that like flew me out to play at that party is now one of my really good friends.
Wait, who
Oh my
was
god,
it?
what?
Ben Marenthal.
Oh my god. By the way, okay, can I just give you a funny fact?
Wait, what?
Okay, so I'm engaged and my fiance and I, we met for the first date that we ever went on. You were with Ben Marenthal at Output, and this was like 6 years ago. Do you remember that
Oh my
place in
God.
Brooklyn?
Yeah, the roof.
I mean, I didn't know at the time, but like Jeremy and Ben are very good friends, and we're really good friends with Ben and Ashley. And shout out Ben and Ashley, they're the freaking
Shout out
best.
Ben and Ashley.
And they're definitely gonna be watching this. But yeah, you were at our first date.
That's
So we always have this.
crazy.
It's like afterwards, I was like, I was such a little crackhead at that age that I don't even know what I was talking about. But now my fiance always jokes. He was like, "You were so busy talking about whatever the fuck you were talking about that you missed the fact that Jeremy Zucker was there."
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Crazy.
The world is so full. What's like invisible string? It's like you're connected to all these people, and then like you are always gonna meet or something. I don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you
Fates.
guys definitely like your interaction from SoundCloud to
Yeah,
from
like
being at
that's
the party.
weird. Like
invisible
that's so
string.
weird that I was just visiting my friend the same weekend that you, and that like she was hooking up with that whack ass guy, and so we went to the 80 pie party.
All the little things that
Yeah,
came
Yeah.
together.
like they have to add up.
And then also Invisible String goes on because you guys met at that party and that was kind of the first in-person interaction, but you guys didn't have to go on and collaborate after that, right? So
Well,
what
not
ended up
only that,
happening?
but so we have the same management, the same label team. Like everything in our careers is fairly
Has just
has fallen into place
Connected.
together. Yeah, which is pretty crazy.
no, but even both of us working with Jesse was random because I like me and you had probably talked about management stuff, and I was like, oh, blah blah blah, who's managing you? And I like did not think about it at all. And the only reason I got linked with Jesse was because I collaborated with Mike Quinn 92
Crazy.
in like 2016, and then I wasn't really ready for a manager yet, and like I reached out to him like when I was ready, and then found out he was already managing you, and I was
Well,
like,
we were all
"That's
hyping
insane."
him up behind your back too, and we were like, Jeremy's music's so good. Like you need to like get him to work with you.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Talk to me about the first time that you guys did collaborate together. What song was it that you guys worked on and how did it come to be?
Better off, I think.
Better off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think what happened was I ended up working at this like random studio in Connecticut called Stone Studio, and it was built in an old carriage house. And I guess we were messaging and we were about to collaborate for the first time. And I invited you up.
Yeah.
We wrote a song together, and it was Better Off, and that was for my project at the time. And it was such a fun and effortless experience that we were talking again, and we were like, why don't we just go to that same place and work on music together? And we went for 3 days or 4 days, and then that ended up being Brent, and it
Wow.
became its own thing.
Where did you guys get the name Brent?
What do you think the name of the street was? It was like Brent something.
It was we were driving. Well, we
Back.
drove into Millerton every day to get coffee, and then because I remember
Somebody wanted
looking
to
at
name
street
it-
signs and being like, "Oh, it could be that street name."
Yeah, no, we wanted to name it after the place because the place inspired the music.
Right.
And it's so cool that Brent has become such a fan favorite for you. Like people get so excited when you guys do anything together. And now you're about to release the third Brent project, Brent number 3, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about Brent number 3.
Well, I think maybe the most important thing about it is that it ended up becoming a full-length album. It wasn't even like a conscious decision. I feel like we just started writing songs and we just liked all of them.
I kept saying it from the beginning, and I remember Jesse was like, "Are you sure you want to?"
Well, I was
Take that on?
very reluctant to commit to an album, not because I didn't want to make an album, but because like I think I was really nervous and apprehensive about like changing the structure or like the identity of Brent in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really nervous about it being an album, but then like we had all of these songs that were so special, and I couldn't imagine us not using them.
Worked out great.
Yeah.
All of your songs are so emotional and they really tell a story. I love listening to them because it's like you're listening to an individual story that you feel like you've gone through. So I'm curious, like, how do you guys go about writing your lyrics? Is it a combination of experiences, or are you just drawing from general experiences, you know, people have gone through?
I feel like it's a really nice like seesaw of like we'll have really honest conversations about things going on in both of our lives. Like I remember Jeremy and I were kind of talking about things going on in your life, and I was like, no, let's lean into that, let's write about that. And then there are times where we're talking about things that are going on in my life, and Jeremy will kind of encourage me and like us as a duo to lean into that too. So I think there's a really nice push and pull with that.
We'll have like a concept that works for both of us, and we each kind of write our own like stories about it.
I think at this point too, like we have so much trust in each other that sometimes Jeremy will kind of spitball, you know, a stanza of lyrics, or I'll spitball like a bunch of lyrics. And at this point, for the most part, we'll either be like, that's really cool, or we'll tweak like tiny words here and there. But for the most part, I think we have a lot of faith in each other's judgment.
Yeah. No, it's so cool to know that you guys both go on your own and write stories about the subject that you want to create a song on, and then it kind of weaves together. What does like a typical studio session when you're in the initial stages of writing a song look like for you guys?
Oh man, I feel like when we start to like catch something that feels really magic, like we both know right away.
I know pretty much like how it starts usually. It's like we'll be fiddling around, and then Chelsea will play something, and I'll be like, what was that? And she'll be like, I don't know, I just made it up.
Yeah, that always happens. Jeremy will like throw something down that will just loop, and like there's an energy in the room based off that feels really magic. One of Jeremy's like best talents is creating like really beautiful and provocative like textures, and I feel like I'll usually sit down at the piano or pick up a guitar and just start spitballing with terrible things. Like I just freestyle the like, I want to know what you're thinking, and just like all of those things. And then we voice note it and just jam for like 5 minutes. And then we look at each other and we're both like,
like you did it. Oh my God. I mean, and when we're like looking at the Brent projects, like there have been so many iconic songs that have come out of it that people have gone crazy over, right? Like You Were Good to Me, This Is How You Fall in Love. What was one of your favorite songs to create together?
It's so funny because every song that we've made together that feels special, it's the same formula of like one of us starting with like a diddle or a texture and the other one just freestyling, and then we're like, what was that?
Mm-hmm.
Like every single time.
It's the magic. For the first project, You Were Good to Me, it was my favorite, and I think we were both very reluctant to try to beat it, and like we both wanted to.
I think it was the first song that we wrote.
I think so.
Too.
Yeah.
That's interesting, the idea of trying to beat it, because you're like, this is so good.
Yeah.
How do we make another one on this album that's going to be even better kind of thing?
That was the mentality behind Brent II, was like, okay, we did such a good job the first time without knowing what we were doing, without trying. And so we were like, okay, now what can we do if we really try? Yeah. And at first that kind of like was an obstacle because we kind of tried too hard. And like
there was a day we didn't speak. Like Jeremy laid in the hammock and I laid in the grass. Like,
but that you have to have those
not
days.
not in a grumpy with each other way, but like just depleted, I think.
Yeah, and I pushed you a lot to like try harder, and I think it just like didn't.
I do my absolute best when I'm trying like a mid amount.
Yeah, and I do my best when I'm trying a lot. So like. That was just something that we had to kind of get through. But totally. I remember we had a couple really good songs for Brent II, and then we went to my studio at the time in Greenpoint, and I didn't want to like put any pressure on it. I was just like, let's see like if we could do one more song for this project, and we wrote This Is How You Fall in Love. Chelsea sat down at the piano and played like.
No, remember you told me to freestyle. What song was it? You were like, just hum things at the beginning. It was maybe Parent Song.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh my God! I forgot this.
Jeremy told me to sit down and just freestyle hums into a microphone, and
then you said, "Oh my love, side to side."
Yeah, I just was like, "Oh my love, side to side," for no fucking reason at all. And Jeremy stops me right there and goes, That's a song, piano now.
Okay, so let's talk about Brent III. When does the Brent III album come out?
November 1st.
November 1st.
Because Brent 3, I, November 11, first 1. So I is 11, 1.
Ones are a good number.
Great.
Angel
11,
numbers.
1.
So I have an angel number tattooed on my neck, and I truly don't know what it means.
What's your angel number?
I don't know. I saw it on Pinterest, and I thought
444.
it's 444.
Okay.
I genuinely don't know what it means, but 111. Maybe I should have gotten that instead.
Thank you so much for joining me today. You guys are the freaking best. I cannot wait.
Kate.
I really can't wait to stream your new album.